Assalamualaikum everyone. I'm just doing a very quick update because this week I will not be able to post like a real video. I had tried to make a video about like harem pants and how to style them, but it was like really dark outside and I thought I had enough lighting and I was wrong. And also I had the light pointing in the wrong direction, so it was like making it look darker than it was. So it was just bad. I hope you have a good week. Please keep me in du'as. I have some horrible finals this week, and maybe by this weekend I will re-record that harem pant video, okay?
Well, of course, September 11th was and what happened was, of course, a very, very serious thing. I believe that it reveals the true colors of Islam, and we thought about what can we do to really show the dangers of what happened that day. And it's not only what happened that day, but actually what Islam does around the world. And we felt burning the Quran would be something of that magnitude.
We know that that type of activity is being transmitted back to places like Afghanistan, where General Petraeus obviously is our lead commander. As he said, it puts our troops in harm's way. And obviously that any type of activity like that would be that puts our troops in harm's way would be a concern to this administration.
Recently, America, a guy took advantage of you. He came to you, and you graciously gave him citizenship. And then what did he do? He turns around and slaps you in the face with an SUV full of explosives. Fortunately, the police were able to bring the situation under control, and nobody was injured. But America, I need to tell you, what he did, I would never do to you. America, you are my homeland. My loyalty isn't to Saudi Arabia, or to Iraq, or to Iran, or to Pakistan. It's to you. I'm patriotic. I love Spider-Man. Listen, what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to worry about me. Why? Because I am a Muslim who believes in the Messiah, and there are millions of us, peaceful and peace-loving Muslims all around the world, who denounce this terrorist act and all other terroristic acts that are unfortunately being done in the name of Islam, and that are unfortunately out to harm our country, my country, America.
Never ever trust al-kuffar. Do not trust them. Now you might argue and say, but my neighbor is such a nice person. My classmates are very nice. My co-workers, they're just fabulous people. They're so decent and honest. And you know, the only problem is that we Muslims are giving Islam a bad name. Don't make a judgment on kufr based on Jane Bow and John Doe. Don't make it based on Joe Sixpack or Sally Soccer Mom. You make the judgment based on the leaders of al-kufr. And these are the ones whom Allah Azza wa Jal talked about in the Quran and gave them the name
You,
al-Malak.
unfortunately, became a lost boy of a promised land, and there are undoubtedly others like you. As a Muslim, I say to you that you have strayed from some of the fundamentals of your religion and seek to take many with you on a path that is spiritually as well as physically destructive. You say that with the American invasion of Iraq and continued U.S. aggression against Muslims, you could not reconcile between living in the United States and being a Muslim, and you eventually came to the conclusion that jihad against America is binding upon yourself, just as it is binding on every other Muslim. I ask you, what kind of jihad is it you speak about? It is not the one sanctioned by Islam, because that one does not advocate the murder of innocent people or call upon our brothers to waste their own blood. The jihad I know is the one that would have empowered the Iraqi people to rid their country of the madman Saddam Hussein themselves before others felt compelled to do it. Where were your bomb makers then?
And I see 24 incidents of Muslim attempted violence in the United States over the past 24 months. That's one incident per month. That's troubling. That is troubling. Now, I'm not saying that it might be coming from outside, it might be coming from Yemen, but I think you got to get a handle on it. Therefore, I support these hearings. I'll give you the last word.
Well, sure. Let's finish up on talking about Al-Qaeda. The Counterterrorism Center at West Point came out with a report in which they demonstrated that Al-Qaeda has done one thing very well since 9/11, and that's kill Muslims. So I think what we need to be emphasizing is the alliance between American Muslims, law enforcement, Muslims worldwide, against Al-Qaeda, as opposed to trying to put the lens on the very small minority who support these acts that do not find friendly support within the American Muslim community.
I disagree with you, because it's the very small minority that killed 3,000 people on one day. Well, and if you're not going to deal with those people, you're not going to put the lens, as you put it, on those people, you're opening yourself up to some serious, serious problems.
And what I'm saying, Bill, is the lens is there. They are not finding support in the American Muslim community. American Muslims are more than willing to work with law enforcement to make sure there are no attacks on this country. And if Peter King will not highlight that.
I hope that's the case. And if you want to testify in front of that committee, just let us know. And I mean,
I'm looking forward to the invitation.
Absolutely. I think Mr. King would, Congressman King, like to know what you think. So, thanks.
My name is Bilal. I'm born and bred in the UK. I'm 39, coming on to 40. I'm from Batley. I work as a manager in a pharmaceutical company, and that's me.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Zaida, I'm 40 years old, I live in Coventry, I work with the inspection team, Ofsted, and that's it.
We text on Sunday, met on Tuesday, and got married on Saturday. Alhamdulillah.
TheSingleMuslim.com is a wonderful place to find your ideal partner. When we met, me and Bilal, we thought it would have been best. It would have been better if we met 20 years ago.
Our short story shows that success can be found, and alhamdulillah, when we did find it, you know, with this kind of trip that we've been offered for Umrah, goes to show that our communion coming together is a means of getting close to Allah, is a sign of acceptance of our marriage. Alhamdulillah.
At the 96th Street Mosque, something you don't see every day. A rabbi and an imam embracing, then standing together in unity.
These intended evils must be condemned, and I'm here to condemn it.
Any attack on a Jewish religious institution is an attack on any and every religious institution.
It was Imam Shamsi Ali who suggested the joint statement of condemnation. He says the very word jihad has been perverted.
Life in Islam is so sacred, and any individuals basically taking the life of all human beings, as the Holy Quran mentions.
Nobody knows for certain how many Muslims live in America. The U.S. Census doesn't collect data on religious identification. Estimates range from 1 to 8 million.
But a study by Columbia University puts the number of Muslims in New York City at 600,000, many of whom live and work in neighborhoods like this one in Brooklyn, along Atlantic Avenue. And whenever something like this happens, the thousands of good, law-abiding, patriotic Muslims worry that once again, the stereotype of a violent Islam is being perpetuated.
What's next? I'll tell you what's next. The mosque at Ground Zero. We're still talking about it. Mayor Bloomberg came out the other day and said you're intolerant if you're against a mosque at Ground Zero. I mean, then you want to talk about tolerance? How about tolerance of Muslims in this country? Do you know that Muslim cab drivers in Minnesota refuse to pick up passengers who have pets because in the Muslim religion, the saliva in the pet's mouth is dirty? Do you know Muslim cab drivers in freaking Minnesota refuse to pick up people who have alcohol in their luggage? Why? Because it's against the Muslim religion to transport alcohol. Do you know there was a Muslim cashier in Target in Minnesota who refused to check out another woman who had pork products because it's against the Muslim religion to touch pork products? Do you think Target fired this woman? No, they just moved the Muslim woman to another part of Target. You think the same thing would have happened if a Catholic woman was working at Target and she saw some woman come up to her register who she knew had an abortion in the past, and she said, I'm not going to check you out because abortion is against my religion? You think Target would have just moved this Catholic woman to another part of the store? No, they would have fired her on the freaking spot. How about the woman in Disneyland? A Muslim woman woman who's been working in Disneyland for the last 3 years in a stage show. She all of a sudden wanted to wear her Muslim scarf on stage. Disneyland said no way, but they accommodated her. They said, we'll move you backstage. We'll pay you the same amount of money and give you the same amount of hours. She said, no way, I want to be on stage. So all of a sudden, in order to be tolerant, we have to have a freaking Muslim freaking Cinderella or a Muslim Little Mermaid. We have to have la 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 and the freaking 7 dwarfs. Are you freaking kidding me? The same thing's going on in the UK. Do you know that teachers in the UK aren't teaching about the freaking Holocaust? Why? Because Muslims deny the Holocaust and they don't want to offend the Muslim. Teachers in the UK aren't teaching about the Crusades. Why? The Crusades were a holy war between Christians and Muslims, and the Crusades are taught differently in history than they are in the freaking mosque. I mean, would you people wake up? Christians and freaking Americans are bending over freaking backwards to freaking accommodate these Muslims, and the Muslims can't move a freaking mosque that 70% of the people in this country are against 10 blocks in any freaking direction? Are you kidding me? You want to talk about tolerance? There is a fine line between tolerance and stupidity, and if you're in support of a mosque at Ground Zero, you're just plain freaking stupid.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today I'm going to be telling you guys my conversion story. It has been much requested. My coworker, who was a guy, needed someone to live in, because he had a 2-bedroom and he needed someone to live in the 2nd bedroom because he couldn't afford the rent, and I needed somewhere to live. So at the time I was still a Christian. It was no big deal, you know. He had a fiance, his family was here, no big deal. I was like, okay, I'll move in. And then that's when I really just got influenced by like him and his family, that they were just so nice to me and so good to me, and like his mother was like so good to me, and she just treated me like her own kid from the start. And I was like, you know what, I really feel like I should just be a Muslim. You know, I didn't know much about Islam. I feel like there's 2 ways people convert. They spend a couple years studying it and then they convert, or you can also, I know there's people who, like me, just converted before they knew anything because they felt in their heart that's what the right thing was, and then spend the next couple years learning. And that's what I did. It was like a month after I moved in with them, I was just like, you know what, I want to be Muslim. I knew the very, very basics of it, and I was like, I'm going to be Muslim.
Ever been on the driving side and you're riding, you're looking through the glass, see your car on the side, the engine's broken and the car is smoking and the dude is shaking cause the heat is baking, or this cat's got a flat and the spare's all whack, no jack in the back and no clue where he's at. There ain't no real rush but you will ride by, not even asking the guy if he needs a supply. He might be alright and to pass ain't a sin, but within you feel bad in the state that he's in. How hard would it have been just to ask you okay? That might be the deed that you need to succeed. That might be the deed that will so please Allah that you're forgiven the sin and you did when you was living. A small little thing that can cling and just ring and will bring the blessing from Allah who's the king. We pass on them deeds cause they seem all small, but they might be the deeds that's the best of them all. Mad when I see all these passes I took on these small little deeds I just overlook. I just can't believe small deeds that I overlook. Can you see little deeds that I overlook? And you read about it in my holy book. It says small deeds never overlook. I just can't believe small deeds that I overlook. Can you see little deeds that I overlook? And you read about it in my holy book. It says small deeds never overlook. Picking up trash on the path in the flash, taking glass from the ground.